Even some casual Star Wars fans have heard of Korriban, the ancient homeworld of the Sith, and the blasted, blood-stained nexus of the dark side. Those more familiar with the lore also know of Malachor, a charred rock home to horrors beyond imagination. But surprisingly, some of the most important Sith worlds are often forgotten. Despite Korriban being the Sith's original homeworld and their most sacred planet, there actually wasn't a single Sith empire or order that headquartered itself on Korriban. Instead, Korriban was, for most of modern galactic history, a graveyard world, home to only tombs and scatterings of religious fanatics. The Sith empires ruled from other worlds, and in this video, we'll be talking about the two most important ones.
Attention, Sergeant on deck!
28,000 years before the Battle of Yavin, the Sith species of Korriban fought a war with the Rakatan Infinite Empire. United under the fearsome King Adas, they managed to deal the Rakata their first defeat in millennia. In 27,700 BBY, the Rakata left Korriban, but the Sith's victory was hollow. Adas perished in the fighting, and the Sith wouldn't remain united for long after the war's end. Furthermore, Korriban was ruined. Centuries of fighting had turned it into a wasteland of jagged rock, covered in a layer of blood-red sand. It was no longer capable of supporting the Sith civilization. With few other options, the Sith chose to relocate. Using hyperdrives stolen from the Rakata, most of the Sith species migrated to another world, a planet called Ziost, which would become their adopted homeworld. In 6,900 BBY, Dark Jedi exiles came to Korriban, where they cowed the local Sith with fearsome displays of power. They came next to Ziost, where they slew the reigning Sith king and declared themselves the Lords of the Sith. These Sith Lords became rulers of the first Sith Empire, which had its capital on Ziost. Along a series of icy cliffs, the Sith Lords built the massive Sith Citadel, which became the new capital city of the Sith Empire. Each of the Sith Lords had holdings elsewhere. They divided the territory of the Sith Empire between themselves and established their own capitals, and they also built fortresses on Korriban. But Ziost remained neutral territory, the icy heart of the Empire, where the Sith Lords met to discuss matters of the state. The first Dark Lords of the Sith ruled from Ziost, from Ajunta Pal and Tulak Horde in the Empire's early days to Marka Ragnos and Naga Sadow in its final years. Despite Ziost's importance, however, the Sith Lords continued to build their tombs on Korriban. Only Sith of lesser castes, the Masasi, the Zuguruk, and the Slaves, were buried in Ziost's icy caverns. After the Sith Empire was defeated in the Great Hyperspace War in 5000 BBY, the Supreme Chancellor sent the Jedi and the Republic military into Sith space to destroy civilization. Ziost and Korriban were abandoned by the Sith, who fled Sith space for other worlds. The Jedi, who wanted nothing to do with Ziost, left the icy world deserted, and it was all but forgotten in later years. Darth Revan's Sith Empire nominally reclaimed Ziost, but had its capital elsewhere. Darth Vitiat's empire did the same. Under Vitiat, Ziost became merely the gateway to the Empire rather than the Empire's heart. It was a mere shadow of its former self. Eventually, Ziost became even less, as Vitiat cleansed the entire planet of life in a terrible ritual after abandoning the Sith Empire. Speaking of Vitiat's empire, the other planet we'll be talking about today is Dromund Kaas. After the defeat of the Sith in the Great Hyperspace War, the remnants of the Sith left the known worlds of the Empire, following Darth Vitiat into the unknown. After 20 years of wandering, they settled on yet another adopted homeworld, Dromund Kaas, a planet of jungles and frequent storms. Their new empire, the true Sith Empire, would rule in secret from Dromund Kaas for 1,000 years, waiting for its chance at revenge. Dromund Kaas was actually a long-forgotten colony of the original Sith Empire, though the jungle had long since consumed its settlements. Vitiat and his followers instead built a new settlement, Kaas City, which centered on the enormous Imperial Citadel. From Dromund Kaas, Vitiat's new Sith Empire expanded across the unknown worlds. Most of the Empire's population abandoned Dromund Kaas within a few centuries. Vitiat's dark side experiments made the planet's climate harsher and less predictable, and before long, the Empire ruled over other, less inhospitable worlds. By the time of the Great Galactic War, Dromund Kaas's population was almost exclusively military. Originally, Dromund Kaas was nothing special, but the presence of Darth Vitiate and the Dark Council of the Sith Empire changed the planet. It became a dark side nexus, one nearly as potent as Korriban and Ziost, and a bastion of true Sith influence. It became the darkest world in the galaxy, more corrupt than Yavin 4, Rakata Prime, or even Malachor 5, which were other Sith capital worlds that rose to prominence during the old Sith Wars. Vitiate's power was so concentrated on Dromund Kaas that even when the Empire recaptured Ziost and Korriban, the Sith capital remained on Dromund Kaas, overshadowing the Sith's older homeworlds. During the Great Galactic War, the true Sith Empire at last revealed itself and conquered half of the known galaxy. Dromund Kaas became the central nexus of the largest empire the Sith had ever known, but its days of prominence were numbered. In a mission to Dromund Kaas, a Jedi strike team destroyed Darth Vitiate, who took on a new body and abandoned the Sith Empire, taking control of the Eternal Empire instead. The Eternal Empire made war on both the Republic and the Sith Empire and, at length, successfully breached the defenses of Dromund Kaas, devastating Kaas City and bringing the Sith Empire to heel. Dromund Kaas rebuilt, but it was never again as mighty as it had been before the Eternal Empire, and, like the Sith Empire itself, it slowly atrophied. After many long years of continued fighting between the Sith and the Republic, the Empire dissolved, the old Sith died out, and Dromund Kaas was abandoned. Like Korriban, Ziost and Dromund Kaas faded into legend after the old Sith Wars. During the Republic Dark Age, both planets were lost and their locations were forgotten by all but a few. During the time of the Empire, some questioned whether the two worlds even existed. Of course, they did, and they were continually visited by a select. After Darth Vitiate cleansed Ziost of life, the planet was never resettled. It remained dark, cold, and dead for thousands of years. Factions of the New Sith laid claim to it at various points in the New Sith Wars, but none of them settled there, and Darth Bane's Order of the Sith Lords largely left the Sith worlds behind, abandoning Ziost and the other planets to future archaeologists and grave robbers. Not even other dark side orders wanted anything to do with Ziost, probably owing to the planet's lifeless state. Dromund Kaas was a different story, however. After the Sith abandoned it, its jungles became swamps and its cities fell into ruin. However, a few decades after the 7th Battle of Ruusan, it was settled by the failed Sith Lord Darth Millennial and his followers, the Prophets of the Dark Side. These Sith rejects claimed the swamps of Dromund Kaas as their home, and a small civilian colony was established under their rule on the planet. Despite the presence of the Prophets, Dromund Kaas remained unknown to most in the Republic, including the Jedi Order. The Jedi only rediscovered the existence of Dromund Kaas and the Prophets of the Dark Side during the Clone Wars. During the reign of the Empire, Darth Sidious contracted the Prophets of the Dark Side to work for him and sent the Inquisitors and other Darksiders to train on Dromund Kaas. However, after the fall of the Empire and the end of the Galactic Civil War, the planet was once more abandoned, as the Prophets were wiped out by infighting. So that's our look at 2 forgotten Sith throne worlds. But what do you think? Are there other Sith worlds whose stories you'd like to hear? Let us know all that and more in the comment section below, and as always guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.